Hey everybody, this Weekend Confirmed question of the week. I'm Jeff Mattis. I'm here with Jeff Kanata and Garnett Lee. And this week's question comes from Carrick KJ. He says, he's asking about undiscovered gems, and he says, does information overload reduce the surprise factor? Finding out too much information beforehand about a game. As an enthusiast, me personally, it doesn't ruin the surprise at all. I mean, I always... if there's something brand new and innovative, I like to see it when it's close to being presentable or I can get my hands on it and play around with it. But, I'm just information hungry. I want to see what the next thing is. I want to see what the next big game is out there. And it really doesn't, I don't view those as spoilers per se.
Let me answer the question. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
How much does it matter to you when you get the surprise factor? See what I'm saying is does it matter? How much does it matter? Does it matter if you have the surprise factor while you're playing the game, or does having the surprise factor almost build the anticipation?
That's a good question. Actually, this more that I think about it, the surprise factor for me typically refers to narrative things.
Yeah.
Like there might be a new mechanic that somebody's introducing, but it's they're going to introduce it. You're going to play around with it. It's not the same thing as, oh man, I know what's going to happen in Act 2.
Like we were talking about Yakuza.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many things, and those are surprises you're not going to lose.
Totally.
Because you're going to play the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I guess I interpreted the question in a different way. I would thought he was talking about undiscovered gems being full game titles, like that you didn't know were coming.
I think he was, but I think that's those are what's spoiled by the information.
Well, I think from that perspective, you aren't going to ever have undiscovered gems of a certain budget level and above.
Yeah.
But the indie market and you coming in and bringing in all these games that I've never heard of until you brought it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a gem. And then you can proselytize about that to your friends. iOS works that way. I mean, a lot of smaller things that can just sort of percolate and seep, and they don't care so much about that first day sales. They can be these things that kind of bubble up from underneath. You still have that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I maybe didn't see the forest for the trees in the question here because I'm so close to indie space. That's all I see, or a lot of what I see is
that's why I love the indie scene, is that it is a constant machine gun of these gems.
Hey, did you see this?
Yeah.
You see this?
Yeah,
exactly.
And because every one of them has that, even if it's just a tweak on a formula, none of them are, big time AAA games now are trying to refine I know that this sort of Call of Duty shooter mechanism works, or I know that this Assassin's Creed adventure game mechanism works. But with the indies, it's just the opposite. It's like, oh, well, they did this. Well, let's take it some entirely other different way. Let's,
Yeah.
Like we want to provide this completely new experience or explore a concept that games don't normally touch. And here's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
Gems.
So thanks for that question. I'm not so your PlayStation profile, and then that game you need to be logged into that profile to play that game. And I think that really were that sort of would do a couple of things. First off, it's sort of a pie in the sky idea because
Here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end of the
internet connectivity for consoles isn't as ubiquitous as